Welcome to the Becoming Superhuman podcast, where we interview extraordinary people to bring you the skills and strategies to overcome the impossible. And now, here's your host, Jonathan Levy.
Before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that this week's episode is brought to you by my new online course, Become a Superhuman. And yes, it sounds exactly like the title of the podcast, but this is actually an online course where we go into the various aspects of improving your health, specifically your endocrine health. More specifically, getting your testosterone up to the optimal levels. Now, whether you're a male or a female, as we've learned in numerous episodes of the show, testosterone is the ultimate feel-good motivation, improved health, improved fitness, improved body composition, super drug. Okay, so everything from your mood to your recovery time and everything in between is affected by your body's endocrine health. And what my team and I have done is we've actually taken years of my own self-experimentation, years of research, every possible literature and study we could find, and we've condensed it into a simple 3 to 4 hour program that you can follow along and make simple, safe, and easy adjustments to your lifestyle to improve your endocrine health. Now, as listeners of this podcast, you can get a very special discount by visiting jle.vi/T. That's jle.vi, just like my name, /T for testosterone. This episode is brought to you by Organifi. You guys, one of the only things that every nutritional expert that we've had on the show seems to actually agree on is that we all need to eat more vegetables, eat more greens, eat organic, cut out all the processed junk. Well, who has the time, right? Who has the time to go out, do the shopping, make the salads, make the juices, make the smoothies? And that's what I love so much about Organifi. Their product is an all-organic green juice. It has all of the nutrients that you need. It tastes absolutely amazing, and it's made by wonderful people who I consider to be personal friends. And as listeners of this show, you guys can actually save 20% on your first order. And all you have to do is go to Organifi.com. That's ORGANIFI.com and use the coupon code SUPERHUMAN at checkout. Greetings, super friends, and welcome to this week's episode. You guys, this week's episode is kind of sort of brought to you by a review from Liam O'Brien of the United States of America, who votes, "Keep the content coming, 5 stars. Every week I look forward to finding a new episode and something new or a new angle on something. This podcast has been informative and transformational in my daily life." Well, that is definitely one strong vote for keeping the weekly episodes going. Guys, if you haven't left a review, go ahead and do it. On to today's episode. You guys, today we are joined by Samir Becic. He is originally from Bosnia. I might be mispronouncing his last name, but you might have heard of him before. He was a former fitness director at Bally Total Fitness. He created his own unique fitness approach after that, the Resync method. He's also founded the Health Fitness Revolution online magazine. During his time at Bally's, he was also named the top fitness trainer in America 4 times, fitness director of the year twice, and Bally's best fitness trainer, the best of the best, in fact. His upcoming book is called Resync Your Life, and in the episode, you're going to see that Samir has a ton of energy. He's a total character. He's loud. He's got just a lot to say and a lot of ideas to share. We talk about fitness. We talk about nutrition. We talk about what's wrong with all of the above in Western societies. And then we go into a little bit about mindset and why Samir chose the life path that he did. I think you guys are really going to enjoy the episode. And if you do, make sure to leave a comment. Enjoy, guys. How are you doing today? I'm so glad to have you here.
I'm doing very well, Jonathan. Thank you very much for having me at your show, and hi to all the listeners.
Absolute pleasure.
Actually, Jonathan, my friend of mine, Shmuel from Israel, told me to say, Shalom Haverim.
Shalom Haverim. I like that one. Where in Israel is he?
No, he is from Israel. He lives down in Houston. He's one of my best buddies.
Very, very cool. So Samir, I'm going to try and cover in the bio before the show a little bit about who you are and what you do. But for the audience, could you maybe fill them in, tell them a little bit about your journey and how you came to be where you are?
Actually, I came to America when I was 23 years old, and I started working for Bally's. At that time, the largest fitness organization in the world. Very soon, I became number one in fitness training in Houston, then number one fitness trainer in Texas, and then I was 4 times number one fitness trainer in US/United States. The title was 4 times number one fitness trainer in the nation, but nation also included Canada, Asia, Europe, Central America. So it was pretty much like a title of the world, but said US nation. So pretty much I worked very hard to accomplish my goals. Nothing came easy, Jonathan. In life, nothing is easy. But when you put your dedication, focus, and discipline, and you always think positively and you believe in yourself, everything is possible. And that's also my message when it's come to healthy lifestyle as well.
Awesome. So today you're working on publishing a book, but you've also created your own system for managing health and fitness. Tell me a little bit about that.
The book, the Resync method that I created almost a decade ago, is now coming in the form of a book. And the book is coming out October 31st. I'm really excited about that. It's a philosophical approach that I have for the last 10 years in a very simplistic way. Now, Jonathan, you must understand, for example, I do some extreme fitness stuff. I do flying push-ups on a moving jeeps. I do push-ups on a moving treadmills. But this book is everything about basics and simplicity so that each person in America and the rest of the world can do it. Doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter the fitness level. So that's why this book that is coming out on October 31st is really simplistic, yet will be very effective. Based on that I educated over 1,000 trainers in Texas, based that I trained several thousand customers in the last 20 years. So all my philosophy is in that book. But you're probably talking about Health Fitness Revolution, the magazine that I created about 4 years ago. Are you talking about that, Jonathan?
Yeah, I'd just love to hear a little bit about the Resync method as a whole and kind of why you decided to create something new, after being at Bally's for so long.
As a fitness director at Bally's, I was the director of the largest club in the country. At that time, with 125,000 square feet and 130 employees, at that time, that was the largest fitness club in the country, in the United States, period. Not just Bally's, but every company, period. And I bought millions of dollars worth of machines, different kind of small fitness apparatuses. And even with help of my trainers, customers will still injure themselves. So I wanted to create a method that the risk of injury is 200 to 300% less than with selectorized machines, than with fitness machines. So that's why I started my own method, because Resync method decreases the risk of injuries almost 200%, because really you're doing only how much power you have. Does it make sense? You cannot go too much overboard. You can increase with the time, but your body will never allow you to push yourself higher than 90%. So that's why it's safer than the regular fitness machines. First of all. Second of all, you can do it anywhere, Jonathan. I mean, think about it. I exercise routine that doesn't require any machines. Any small apparatus can be done in your kitchen, at your workplace, at your home. It takes 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. However, how much time you have, you'll be able to do it anywhere. For example, you're in a hotel room in London and you don't know where the gym is. You don't want to go out of your room. You can perform the exercise in a hotel. You're at your work. You have a break for 1 hour. You don't know what to do with yourself. You go in a break room and perform exercise on your chair. So it's a very simplistic, effective, can be done anywhere.
Wow. So is it primarily based on body weight movements and stuff like that? Walk me through a little bit of what a Resync workout might look like.
Resync workout is, of course, body on movement, but with resistance at the same time. For example, I'm a big fan of history and I love Greek mythology. So many of the exercises have Greek names, like, Hercules push. So you're pushing a wall with a proper standing, of course. But at the same time, while you're pushing the wall, you're doing the movement of 2 inches. You have an isometrics, a plyometrics. You're using your strength, endurance, cardio at the same time, and stamina. So the workout is very complex. It's very simplistic in the nature. So every exercise is trying to cover as many fitness components as possible. So I want the person after 10 minutes really to feel the workout like they done it for 45 minutes in the gym. And many athletes, they tried Resync method. After only 20 minutes, they said they had a better workout than in the gym for like 60 minutes. So I cannot go into details right now of the book because the book is not out yet. But I guarantee you, Jonathan, every single person in America will love this book because it's simplistic yet very effective. And also, NASA was also interested in my methods for the astronauts because method is so effective and uses a certain mathematical equations that actually fitness experts from 19 to 100 and some of the experts from 15 to 100 was using that, and the knowledge was forgotten. The history forgot about physical fitness and healthy nutrition, and I'm bringing back the history. You know, I'm a big believer in Latin language, and there's a famous saying like a historia est magistra vitae, the history is teacher of life. So I'm bringing the aspects of what we knew 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 500 years ago, 300 years ago, combined with the science of 21st century and build it together in one strong, mathematically almost perfect equation.
Wow. So Samir, I want to ask you, you mentioned, a lot about injury, and I'm a big outspoken advocate of not using machines, especially fixed access machines, because of that. And, I've been on the record telling people that I used to do all those leg extensions with all these machines at, the Gold's Gym, and it only made my knees worse because of the imbalance. But I wanted to ask you, in addition to injury, what do you think are some of the problems with the ways that people are working out today? I mean, we all know that we need to exercise, we need to move, and yet it always seems like we're not doing the exact right thing. So what do you think is wrong with the way that people are exercising today? And, how can people avoid having a workout that's going to cause them more harm than help?
For example, Jonathan, in America, I'm sure you're familiar with the New Year resolution.
Oh, yeah.
The majority of Americans, every January 1st, they start the New resolution, and many of them have the goal to lose the weight, get fit, be healthier. And majority, 90% of them fail in the first 2 to 3 months. The reason is because we don't know how to do step by step. We try to lose 20 years of gaining weight in 3 months. We're trying to be the hero in the first couple of sessions.
Right.
The philosophy is start slow. As a director of the largest club in the country at that time, I had 25,000 members in my club, and then suddenly 70, 80% of them come in January, and we are full. We're working hard. The members are coming to me and complaining, oh, your trainers are not working me very hard. What I'm paying the money for? I need harder workouts. I said, sir, madam, the key is to start you slow so you can keep going for the next 6, 9, and 12 months. It's not forgive you the workout and injure you in the first month. People don't understand. They want a fast gratification. They want an instant results. And that's what's wrong with our society. They have no patience. And you know what? A quality thing takes time. The human body takes time. You cannot change your body in 3 months, which took 20 years to build. But you can have a great start in the first month. And that's why the book 28 Days. Because I discovered that in 28 days, you can start building yourself for the next level.
Wow. Okay. So tell me all about that, because that's a really interesting number. First off, it's exactly 4 weeks. It also, for women, the number 28 days has a pretty interesting significance, but why 28 days? And tell me what that process, if people pick up a copy of the book, what's that process look like for them?
The process will look like they will have a fitness routine. They will have a nutritional routine. I don't believe in structured diets. I believe teaching people how to eat proper. And this still, for the first 28 days, they will have a semi-structured, healthy eating during the entire 28 days. But the key is also brain exercises, spiritual exercises. I'm trying to educate people how to live healthy lifestyle. Jonathan, the one problem that we have in this country is we're only curing the systems and not finding the permanent solution to obesity problem in this country. The obesity problem in this country is becoming epidemic, and by 2030, we'll not be able to recognize our country. Right now, Jonathan, when you go to the malls and you see the children, teenagers, they're 14, 15 years old, you know what? When you find one who is skinny, then you say, oh my God, look at that person. She's in good shape, or he is in good shape. You know what? I remember 20 years ago, if you have a one obese person, people will say, oh my God, look at this person is like overweight. It's changing. Society is accepting obesity in America, and that's the problem that we have. And that's why I am trying to teach people the basic of healthy lifestyle. I'm trying to teach them how to permanently solve the solution. I'm not lying to them like 90% of the experts who are trying to sell them magic pills, who are trying to sell them miracle stuff that doesn't work. People get more depressed after they don't lose the weight, or they lose the weight. As soon as they stop doing the regimen, they gain weight back and they add 30%. And that's how you create depression. And that's how you create a massive problem that we have in this country. And that's obesity. And that's why with this book, I'm trying to change that. I am trying to use a cognitive thinking, physical training, healthy nutrition, mental, social, and spiritual balance. Only with those 5 components, we cannot just live the life, but actually be fully alive.
Wow. I like that, especially because, it echoes one of my favorite authors, Rob Wolf, who says, it's a hell of a business to give people advice that's not working. And then when it doesn't work, sell them something else, and the cycle just goes on and on and on. People try the next fad and the next book and the next diet and the next whatever, and it never actually works. So I love let's break the cycle. Let's be honest with people and say, it's very hard work. It's not going to happen overnight, which actually led me to another question I wanted to ask you. I mean, Samir, I can tell you're a guy with a ton of energy, a ton of motivation, clearly a ton of discipline. But as you said, people come in on January 1st, and then over time, their discipline, their motivation wears off. So you especially touched on, the mental exercises that happen in those 28 days. How do people motivate themselves? Because, I'm as guilty as anyone else. Like, I should go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I end up going once or twice, on some weeks. How do we stay motivated? How do we improve our discipline and make this a priority in our lives?
But Jonathan, you just told me you wanted to go 4 to 5 times a week in the gym and you're only going once, twice. But let me just say something. It's not only once, twice. You're going more to the gym than 90% of Americans. So in my eyes, Jonathan, you're doing a great job. Congratulations, Jonathan, for going to the gym once or twice, because you're right now beating over 90% Americans. So you're top 10 of the fittest people in America right now. And you know what? Go from that perspective that you are already a champion by being in the top 10%, and then slowly build yourself to be top 5%, and then top 3%, and then top 1%. Step by step, your mental will reinforce your physical, and your physical will reinforce your mental. And that circle will start spinning and spinning. And then when you introduce mental, social, and spiritual balance, we are on the verge to create a human body to be so powerful like we cannot even imagine. Our brains are so powerful, we are not aware of that. And you know what? In my book, Resync Your Life, I talk about brain. I studied over 270 different researchers from across the world, the top researchers on brain. And I can just tell you one thing, we are confused. But also what I can tell you, with exercise and healthy lifestyle, we can improve our brain. We can improve our memory, our focus. We can improve our grade matter. We can express our IQ to the best possible level. And that's what people need to know. We need to tell our parents and our government officials to motivate the children to be healthy and fit, not only for the physical health, of course, that's number one, but also, Jonathan, also for the cognitive thinking, for the future of this country. We need to combine intellect and physical. You know, Jonathan, I came to America when I was 23 years old. My father bought me cowboy boots when I was 6 years old. I love this country. I always dreamt to be here. And you know what? I want to give this country something that I know how to do it, and that's how to make this country that fittest nation in the world. We're already the greatest nation in the world, Jonathan. We have the best freedom. We have the strongest military, strongest economy. We are the great. We are the light for the rest of the world to follow. But one thing what we're lacking right now is physical fitness. And I think we need to give Americans deserve a permanent solution when it's come to obesity. And that's not going to happen with the snake oil salesmen that are right now ruling media, TV, and print. And we need to change that to the next level. And that's why let's stop curing the symptoms, but actually focus on curing disease and really finding the permanent solution.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, the other day I was re-explaining to someone just about this whole, Ansel Keys and the McGovern Commission and just how everything that Americans think they know about nutrition is wrong. And even, forget about the snake oil salesman. The government is telling you the wrong thing since the 1970s, cut fat, eat carbohydrates, eat grains. So I couldn't agree with you more on that. And I think, people have been fed these lies for so very long. I wanted to ask you, a little bit about diet and nutrition, because as you said, it's not about putting a Band-Aid on it. It's about curing it at the source. And I think we can definitely agree that one of the major components of the obesity epidemic is diet. So, what are your thoughts on diet? Do you take kind of a paleo approach? Do you take kind of a less protein approach? What's your thinking?
balance.
Mm.
In life, it is everything about balance. And sometimes less is more. There's so many different philosophies when it comes to nutrition. Calories in versus calories out. Less fat, less carbohydrates, more protein, less sodium, no sugar. Everything, when you really see the big picture, we get like 10 different approaches.
Mm-hmm.
You get 10 different approaches, and we confuse them. Americans are one of the most confused nations in the world when it's come to nutrition and when it's come to healthy lifestyle. I believe that's on purpose by certain people who have media platforms, who are living and making extremely amount of money or confusing people. That everything is about balance. Learn what's healthy for you and learn what's not healthy for you. And now let's say, for example, you have a certain favorite meal that you had since you were a child. You know what? Don't have that meal every 7 to 10 days, but don't have every single day. Learn how many carbohydrates, what kind of carbohydrates you have. You have a simple carbohydrates, you have a complex carbohydrates, you have a lean protein, you have a fatty protein, you have a good fats, you have a bad fats. How much sugar should I eat? Is sugar completely bad? Of course it is. But if you don't give your body a little bit of sugar, then later when you eat a cake, the body will just absorb everything. So everything is in balance. And you know what? Very often, Jonathan, it's not just about food. It's also about the digestive system. And the digestive system is also impacted by the way we think. Are we stressed out or are we relaxed? Do we sleep enough? Do we drink enough water? So it's not just about diet. It's the whole body is a unit. It's about physical fitness, healthy nutrition, but also mental, social, and spiritual balance. You need to reintegrate all those 5 components to have a healthy lifestyle. And then you'll realize you'll start eating less. People eat because they're stressed out.
Yeah.
So many different components that, I can address right now, but,
Absolutely. So I would be kind of remiss if I didn't touch on the neuroscience bit, because as you know, I teach accelerated learning. One of the things I teach in my course, we do all the memory techniques, all the speed reading techniques, but then we also go into lifestyle adaptations. What kind of teas can you drink to improve mental performance? What kind of diet improves mental performance? Talk to me a little bit about, 270 different researchers and kind of what kind of exercise is better for the brain. At what time is it better for the brain? How can people optimize their learning and memory through exercise?
My recommendation is always a combination between the cardio and strength training, because both of them have a very strong components. Also, foods with high antioxidants are very good for the brain. And meditation, pretty much prayer or meditation is very important for the brain. But also socializing with your friends and family. Think about it. When you have a great night with your family and you have a great time with your friends, you feel good about yourself. Then you're going to go home less stressed, you're going to sleep better. When you wake up and you have a strong, very powerful REM, your recovery is so strong. You wake up in the morning and you're full with energy. Then you can go and work out. You work out and then you detox all the negative stress that you had from the previous week. You take a shower, you go to work, you're more positive at work. You're motivating everybody around you because they see the energy that comes out of you. Suddenly your bosses are realizing, oh my God, look at you. Jonathan, you're so powerful, you're so presentable, you're so energetic, you're so present, you're so positive. Suddenly you get promotion, you get more money down the road. And that improves your brain. Suddenly you're in a new position. Suddenly you have a healthier ego. You have more self-esteem. And see the circle, what improves the brain. It's a combination of everything you do during the day. Exercise, healthy nutrition, socialization with your friends and family, good sleep, hydration. So many different components that improves the brain. And then the aspects of a human body when it's unhealthy versus when it's healthy is tremendous. Jonathan, let's say, for example, an average person has an IQ of 100. Let's assume average person has an IQ of 100. If you're healthy, you will express 95% of that IQ 100. So you're going to work almost to 95, 97, 98% of your full capacity. Let's say you're an unhealthy person, you have an IQ 100. You will not be able to even use 60% or 70% of that. And that's my philosophy. When you have a healthy lifestyle, when you have a mental, social, and spiritual balance, you can use the best what the God intended you to be in the first place. And that's the full potential that you have. Now, imagine, I always use Albert Einstein for everything. I'm a big fan of Albert Einstein. I mean, he is my hero par excellence, and I use him also in my book. Albert Einstein discovered when he was walking with the mathematician Gödel in Princeton University, when they walk, they can think better. And that's in Europe like a philosophy. You walk, you think better. So he realizes that by walking, he can think better. So that's immediately a combination between physical activity, physical exercise, and thinking better. And then second component, that socialization with somebody who understands him. Mathematician Gödel was the only person who could understand Albert Einstein. So that aspect of him being great friends improves his thinking as well. And he said many of the things what he did in life, he thanks to Gödel as well, and vice versa. So from that perspective, you see everything you do improves your brain in a positive direction if you do it properly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think it's so interesting, Steve Jobs, who's kind of one of my personal heroes, had the same policy that any kind of serious conversation around a very challenging problem would involve walking with one of his top managers or whoever he was meeting with and discussing out the problem. And it was always a walk. It was always, in Palo Alto or Cupertino. So kind of just think how two genius people found that same thing.
And you know what? And from that perspective, they're not athletic at all. So they find out while not being athletic. So they're not used to like a physical activity, but they realize combination, that actually walking and exercising is very good for thinking. But also, for example, John, I practice every time when I meet with my lawyers or my accountant, I take him for a walk because, I'm less stressed out and they're less stressed out. So the combination of us being less stressed out is always a good one. I agree with you 100%, geniuses of our time. Now, when we talk about geniuses, think about Stephen Hawking, for example. Everybody thinks, Samir, you always say physical activity improves the brain and vice versa. But what's going on with Stephen Hawking? Stephen Hawking doesn't care to even move any muscle, and yet his brain is so powerful that can actually see the universe in so many different ways that scientists with best physical abilities cannot do it. But see, Stephen Hawking, many people don't know that. He was actually performing sports before he couldn't walk anymore. So his mind never stopped competing. He turned his life, his physical strength, into his mental strength, and he was competing against himself. That's why he was able to beat disease and be still alive at the age of 74, 75 that he's old right now. So competition, positive attitude is also very important, Jonathan, hope for life, hope for achievement, never stop learning, always try to educate yourself and always think. Because physical activity by itself is not enough.
I agree completely. And I would even say, Stephen Hawking is such a rare, once in a generation brilliance that, he's been able to stay as sharp as he has, despite the fact that he's stationary, on top of all of that.
And I just told you, he lives in his brain and he competes in his brain. And I can tell you in his brain, he can walk. I tell you in his brain, he can do all kinds of things. And, very often mental reinforcement has a strong effect on physical.
Absolutely.
Very often, before I was competing, I would think already that I'm winning, and I will see myself winning, and I will see myself performing the exercises, and that prepared me physically as well. So I believe that Stephen Hawking is, besides being a mental genius, is also a physical genius in a certain way. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
Definitely. Samir, I want to change gears a little bit because you talked a lot about dreams and working hard and achieving your dream. You also mentioned that it was your dream to leave your home country and travel to the United States and live in the United States and make a career in the United States. I wanted to ask you a little bit about that story. How did you do it? How did you come at such a young age? What did it take to succeed? Why was it such an important thing for you? And to share a little bit, because I know a lot of people in our audience really like to hear about how others achieve their dreams. So if you could share with us what that was all about and how you did it.
Jonathan, when I was a little boy, I always wanted to be like a John Wayne and Clint Eastwood, and Wyatt Earp. I always loved America. America for me was the greatest country in the world. And when I was living in Bosnia, I was always living between Bosnia and Germany. And when I was living in Bosnia, the Bosnian War happened and I lost a lot of family members in Bosnian War. So going to Germany, I just really wanted to leave Europe. I wanted to do something new, something different myself. And I left Germany. I left one of the strongest economies in the world to come to number one economy in the world because I believe America is the greatest nation in the world. I always wanted to be American. I cannot tell you why. It's like I always dreamt to be part of America. And when I came to America, I didn't come here to lose. I came here to make an impact. I didn't come from Germany just to do the same thing in America like I was doing in Germany. I came here with the purpose to achieve the ultimate in my profession. And I worked very hard to it. And I built myself step by step, to go to next level. And you know what? I didn't even know what next level means. I really honestly think that I didn't achieve much. So from that perspective, I'm still learning. I'm still going forward.
Let me ask then on that one, what's next for you? I mean, you want to publish this book. Obviously, you want to get this book in the hands of as many people as possible. Where do you see yourself, in 5-10 years taking this movement, and what do you hope to achieve?
Let me just tell you now something about Health Fitness Solution magazine that I created about 4 years ago. Health Fitness Solution magazine is the first magazine in the world to start ranking heads of states in the world for physical fitness. Every time we publish the list of the fittest heads of states, it goes viral worldwide. And already in the last 4 days, since the first year, we made world news. Over 10,000 top media outlets across the world published our list of the fittest heads of states. And that was my philosophy. Let's impact the leaders in the world. Let's impact the American leaders to motivate millions to be healthy and fit. That's why with the first magazine, besides creating the list of fittest heads of states, with the first magazine, we created the fittest churches in America, fittest spiritual leaders in America, fittest Christian leaders in America, fittest politicians. And then we went into every segment of society, create the most influential people and put them in the list and rank them in health and fitness and tweet them and let them tweet back to their fans, to their constituents. We want America to be the healthiest and fittest nation in the world, because I believe that whatever America does in a positive way will lead the world. And through that magazine, I was surprised that we made world news 4 years in a row. I didn't think it was going to happen, but we did it. And it's now making more impact. Now, I hope that my magazine will have between 5 to 10 million views per month in the next 18 to 24 months. I also am working on 2 different books besides this one, and that's a Resync Your Life Squared. And the third book, I'm not going to release it right now. So, and you know what, John, I'm like a child, I'm 41 years old, but I'm acting like a teenager. I'm very energetic. I'm very positive. I cannot wait to wake up in the morning and start something new. I'm excited about the life, but I really want to create a permanent solution to obesity in our great country. And really, Jonathan, how many media outlets are there? When you try to tell them something that makes logical sense, that's realistic, that's positive, that's actually can help people to be healthy and fit, they ignore you. And yet they put media personalities in place who actually, some of them don't even know what they're talking about. And then think about it. I am the level 6 trainer at Bally's. Level 6 trainer, you must have extremely results to get to level 6. And then I educated 1,000 trainers. I was director over 5 clubs at the same time, having 300 employees under my direct supervision. And then I have to listen to somebody on TV who has no clue about health and fitness, who does not understand anything what they're promoting. And they're promoting pills that, and you know what? I'm surprised, and I want to ask them, when was the last time you read a book? And that's what I want to change in America. I want health and fitness experts to actually be thinkers. I want health and fitness experts to actually be somebody you can talk besides just lifting weights.
I love that. And I definitely get your point. And I'm actually looking also at the fittest heads of state. And I'm pretty happy that Benjamin Netanyahu, even though I have my political disagreements with him personally, he is number 66 and is not at the bottom of the list. So that's pretty cool to see.
That's actually not my list. That's one of the lists that people taking from us. On our list, Benjamin Netanyahu is one of the top 10, top 13, top 15 fittest heads of states.
I'm looking at 2016.
Okay. One of the reasons why I put Benjamin Netanyahu on the list of the top fittest heads of states is because many people don't know. Benjamin Netanyahu motivates his own ministers in his government to be healthy and fit. He's very proactive towards healthy lifestyle. And that also explains his ego, meaning he's a strong person. He believes himself. I mean, you can say anything what you want about Benjamin Netanyahu, but when he speaks, people listen, And that comes also from a very structured way of doing. And some of his ministers in his government are actually promoting healthy lifestyle on a national level. And they're telling people on TV interviews, hey, live healthy lifestyle. I wish more American politicians would do the same.
Yeah, it's definitely an emphasis that I've seen in Israel. I mean, don't get me wrong, McDonald's has done a lot of damage here as well, and there's still a lot of grains and stuff in the diet, but home cooking here is in many ways prioritized over eating out. It's considered part of the culture to eat with your family as many times as possible a week. People, even if they go out to a restaurant for lunch, they look for a restaurant that has home cooking, lots of salads and stuff like that. And a meal isn't a meal without a ton of vegetables. And it's one of the things I love here, that it's ingrained into the culture, not so much into kind of people's personal priorities, but into the actual culture that, I can't have a meal without a salad. Even if it's breakfast, there has to be salad. So
that's actually very good. And also one of the ministers in Netanyahu government even openly spoke against McDonald's in Israel and saying that's the worst thing what can happen to Israel is McDonald's. Mm-hmm. So when it's come to that, Israeli government is really doing an amazing job towards healthy lifestyle and towards motivating Israelis to be healthy and fit. That's why Israeli military is one of the strongest militaries in the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, people who serve in the military complain that the food there is garbage. So, if they're complaining that the food's garbage, you can imagine what the average citizen is eating in their home. Lots of fresh vegetables, lots of,
And I guarantee you, if you compare the foods that other militaries in the rest of the world are eating, Israeli is probably one of some of the healthiest foods in the military, because I went also and researched all the military menus around the world. And I can tell you, Israel has one of the best quality foods for the military.
That's fantastic. It's fantastic to hear.
Jonathan, I'm a big fan of Israel. You need to know that.
I'm really glad.
I'm invited to go to Tel Aviv to do speeches in Tel Aviv. And a friend of mine, Miguel Calatayud, is actually part of the big corporation from Israel that is right now producing some very healthy stuff. And they invited me to Tel Aviv. I cannot wait to go to Israel.
Oh, awesome. Let me know when you're here, because obviously I'm here in Tel Aviv.
Jonathan, I will definitely call you and we're going to have some great time. And I'll probably bring my friend Shmuel, because he said, you're not going to go to Israel without me. We need to have some time. I need to show you some good time in Tel Aviv.
Amazing. I think you're going to love it, and especially given your health and admiration of the country. I think there'll be a lot of things that you'll take away and say like, why don't we do it that way in the States?
I can just tell you right now that, Jonathan, I understand Yiddish.
Oh, really?
So when I go to New York, when I go to LA, and many of my advisors are Jewish, many of my good friends are Jewish, and many of my people who manage me are Jewish. So when I start talking to Yiddish to them, they're like, oh, shocked. They say, my kids don't speak Yiddish, but you speak Yiddish. So they're like a little bit, they're very pleasantly surprised, especially the older generation, because I speak Slavic and I speak German, and Yiddish is combination between Slavic, German, and Hebrew. Mm-hmm. So I understand like 80%.
Wow, that's incredible. And it's like such a esoteric language as well. Like not many people speak it anymore.
Yeah. But you must also understand that my parents come from Bosnia, and Bosnia is known to have the only Haggadah in the world with pictures. When Spain was trying to, move all the Jews out of Spain, Bosnia was the first country who took all the Jewish, and because of the rich culture and knowledge and everything else. So they brought Sarajevo Haggadah. Check this out. Sarajevo Haggadah is the only Haggadah in the world that has pictures in it. So I'm familiar with the rich history of Jewish people and Israel, and big fan, Jonathan.
I'm really glad to hear. Samir, I just caught that we're running out of time here, so I want to ask you a few rapid fire questions before we wrap up.
Please go ahead.
The first one is a little bit of homework. I'd love to give our audience a little bit of homework that they can do this week while they're waiting for the book to come out to start their path towards a healthier lifestyle.
Okay, this is my homework for are we talking right now to Israeli or to period? Everybody who's listening right now.
Well, we got listeners in 193 countries, so everybody.
Oh, that's amazing. So how about this right now? That I challenge everybody who's listening to this podcast right now to do 10 push-ups. And if they cannot do 10 push-ups, to build themselves up. And if they can do 10 push-ups, tell them to do 2 times 10 push-ups a day. That's when it's come to physical fitness. Push-ups only. They can do it regular push-ups. They can do it on the knees, or they can do, if they're a little bit older, maybe only 3-inch push-ups. When it's come to physical exercise. When it's come to nutrition, I am challenging everybody who's listening to this podcast to just drink 2 more glasses of water a day. Just 2 glasses of water a day extra what they usually drink. Or another challenge, every time you feel hungry, drink 1 big glass of water and wait 10 minutes. If you're still hungry, then eat something. If you're not hungry, then don't eat anything. 7 out of 10 times, people are not hungry, they're actually thirsty, but the brain cannot tell the difference. So every time you're hungry, drink big glass of water and wait 10 minutes. You'll realize you'll start shedding your weight like nobody's business.
Amazing. So Samir, I really appreciate that. And anyone out there, that's great advice, easy to do. So if any of you guys, are thinking to make any excuses, don't do it. Just drop down, give Samir 10, send a Twitter or a comment on the blog post once you've done it.
Yes. Jonathan, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. Tweet me, Facebook me. I will answer. My team is amazing. Health Fitness Revolution team is unbelievable. I have in my office Naomi and Ashley. They're doing a great job. Naomi's with me from the beginning, and she's like, she's always pumps me up. But Jonathan, I just want to tell you right now one secret that nobody else knows. Prime Minister Netanyahu will be on the new list of the fittest heads of states for 2018. So you guys are the first podcast who knows that. Great job, Prime Minister Netanyahu. Great job with your government. Please motivate Israeli to be healthy and fit like you're doing already. Do even more motivation. You're doing an amazing job, and I'm really proud to have you on my list.
Awesome. So Samir, I want to ask you the second to last question, which is where can people reach out and learn more? We're obviously going to link to the book Resync in the podcast episode. People want to pre-order it, but where else can we send them?
The books can be bought all over the world. Right now, it's only in the English version. Are you talking about where can they order the books?
Where they can get in touch with you and learn more about all the different stuff you're doing.
Health Fitness Solution Magazine, healthfitnesssolution.com, healthfitnesssolution.org, my Twitter, my Facebook account. We get questions from all over the world. It's the same thing like you, Jonathan. We get questions from Africa, from Australia. We try to help people. But again, healthfitnesssolution.com is the magazine that I spread my philosophy and my team. We have over 2,400 different articles about health and fitness. And pretty much you can learn everything, about me, what I do on a daily basis.
Brilliant.
We publish everything we do. We are very transparent, Jonathan. We have nothing to hide. We are very transparent because we mean the best for the world. And of course, because I live in the United States, because this is my country, I want to make sure that America is the healthiest nation in the world, but I also want to make sure that Israel and every other country is healthy and fit. And there's no difference. I really want to dedicate my life, and I'm dedicating my life to fight obesity and diabetes type 2 because I believe that humanity has so much more to do, and we are right now being stopped by something we can control. Let's fight obesity to the point that it's a real true fight and not just curing the symptoms. Let's do a permanent solution when it's come to obesity. Let's make our children healthy and fit. Let's make our children smile again. Jonathan, I see teenagers being very negative, very harsh on themselves because they don't feel good about themselves. And that's all due to obesity.
Well, Samir, I really want to thank you so much for sharing your message with us, sharing your energy with us today. The last question that I wanted to ask you, if people are able to take away just one message to remember this episode by, what would you hope for that message to be? Drink
more water.
Brilliant. Easy to remember and important.
Drink more water. Human body is made 65 to 70% out of water. What happens to the flowers at your house if you don't put water every single day or every other day? What happens to flowers? They die out. That's exactly what happens to human body. When you get older, we drink less and less water. The less water we drink, the more muscles becoming tighter and the less movable we are. Water promotes mobility. Water promotes positive thinking. Drink as much water as you possibly can.
Brilliant. Samir, I really want to thank you so much for your time and for your energy again. And I really hope we do keep in touch. I want to wish you good luck on the book launch coming up pretty soon. And I do hope we keep in touch.
Thank you very much. And again, for the Israel and for all the 193 countries out there who is listening to the podcast, please, the book, you can order it on Amazon. You can order it on so many different sites. Resync Your Life, 28 days for stronger. I'm not going to now tell you the title. I'm just going to go stronger, fitter, healthier, happier, smarter, more capable, more powerful you. Let's become superhumans like God intended us to be in the first place.
Brilliant. Samir, let's talk soon. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Jonathan. Shalom, okay?
Shalom. All right, super friends, that is all we have for you today, but I hope you guys really enjoyed the show and I hope you learned a ton of actionable information, tips, advice that will help you go out there and overcome the impossible. If you've enjoyed the show, please take a moment to leave us a review on iTunes or Stitcher or drop us a quick little note on the Twitter machine at GoSuperhuman. Also, if you have any ideas for anyone out there who you would love to see on the show, we always love to hear your recommendations. You can submit on our website or you can just drop us an email and let us know. That's all for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in to the Becoming Superhuman podcast. For more great skills and strategies, or for links to any of the resources mentioned in this episode, visit www.becomingasuperhuman.com/podcast. We'll see you next time.